It's early March, it's misty and it's a little bit chilly. This morning is the lowest tide of the year so far. That on the other side of me is the River Roach. It's actually a little bit chillier than I thought. No worries. Now look what I found. Don't matter where I go, I always find fishing tackle. That's been in there a while by the looks of it, but that's handy. I'll take that. I've not really come down here to forage. I've only come down here just to see what it's like at this extreme low tide. I'm not saying that if I see anything that I want to take home foraging wise, I'm not going to take it, but I'm not actually down here for that. I'm just down here to have a look. And this is the sort of thing you just don't normally see. This, what is exposed here, is never normally exposed. Now that is a big cockle. See, I might take that. Finding a lot of these. I think these are peppery furrow shells. I think they are. I'm finding evidence of lots of them. They seem to be everywhere. Or the dead shells anyway. So somewhere under the surface here are the actual living thing. I'll have to come back with some digging implement, I suppose. I'm the only person around. I love it. Look at these Brent geese. The reason that alerted me to the fact that this might be a possible area where I could go shellfish foraging is for the fact that I kept finding smashed up shells up on the sea wall. I'll cut to that right now. This is what I'm talking about. This is what alerted me to the presence of hard shell clams, aka quahogs, on the River Roach. I kept finding these shells smashed up on the sea wall, and I didn't know who the culprits were until I actually saw the culprits in action, dropping the shells onto the hard sea wall. And they are crows, carrion crows, that do it. Not seagulls, not anything else. The only things I've seen do it are carrion crows. And what they do is they pick a shell up from the water's edge or in the mud, whatever, the sort of size that they can pick up. They fly high and drop it onto a hard surface to crack the shell and expose the meat inside. They're a very intelligent animal. But look, smashed up hard shell clams all over the place. And I didn't see them do it at this location. Actually, I think I filmed it. I see them do it at Benfleet Creek, about 5 miles east of here. If I've got footage of it, I'll insert it right now. Oh my God. I just see it and I just filmed it. I don't know whether you see it. I've just seen a crow. Just seen a crow dropping a shellfish onto the hard sea wall up the top there. I just see it do it. It's the first time I've ever seen it. Now it's confirmed. It's carrion crows. They're the only ones intelligent enough to know that if they pick a clam or a mussel or whatever bivalve it is and they drop it onto this hard sea wall up the top here, they're going to get the meat out the shell. They know that. That's the first time I've actually seen the culprit. It's the first time it's been confirmed. I've just found what I hope is a very large alive hard shell clam. Here's hoping. It's a hard shell clam for me. It's a hard shell clam for me. It's alive. Very much alive. Just spat liquid out at me. Oh, what, I think I've just found another one. Hold up, this might be the spot. This might be the spot where they are. You know, if you get your eye in, that's a cockle. Oh my lord. Oh, here we go. That is very much alive. That is a very big quahog. It's ridiculous, size of them. As the name suggests, the shell is very hard and thick, and that takes up a lot of the weight of the animal, but I know there'll be a big lump of meat in there as well. Can you spot it? You've really got to get your eye in. You've really got to scan every centimetre. I've just seen another one as well. Right, so look. There. That is very much alive, and that is a decent one. These are the... I'd say I've caught them this big before, but I've never caught this many this big before. And there is another one. These are a good average size. This is turning out to be a hard shell clam foraging video, but not your average sized hard shell clam, not the average ones that I get anyway. The ones that I've got here, well, they're a decent size and I'm happy with them. And I can make a video out of this and have a feed as well. I'll crack on. And what do we have here inside this giant oyster shell, which is possibly one of the biggest I've ever seen? There's an edible crab in there. Can you see him? Right, he didn't want to get out. He's hanging on for dear life. I don't want to break his claws off or anything. There he is. Look at that. There's an edible crab. I'll put him back exactly where I found him. This is a little bit thick, this mud. Right. That was there like that. You go back in there. Things I'll do for you guys, eh? Wow. That there is a piddock clam. So they're obviously down here as well. Getting some nice cockles, as well as hard shell clams. There's a few mussels down here, but not many. So I'm back at the seawall now. I've got a bucket of Quahogs, hard shell clams and cockles, and one bit of fishing tackle. Now that is what you call a clam. Right, they're the Quahogs, or hard shell clams, and they are probably amongst the biggest ones I've ever caught. I've caught a couple that size before, but just sort of individually, never that many in one haul before, so yeah, I've done quite well there. So they've been cleaned, they're going to go in the fridge. I'm going to purge them in some salt overnight, but I haven't got no salt, so they're going to go in the fridge for now, and I'll put some salt in there later. That's the hard shell clams, or Quahogs. And these are the rather large cockles and smaller hard shell clams. I pulled these slipper limpets off of the hard shell clam. You can see where it was attached there. So they're going to go in the freezer because I can't release them. They're invasive anyway. I'll use them for bait next time I go fishing. So that can go in the freezer. So they've been chilling in there overnight in salted fresh water. So hopefully they've kicked out some of the stuff that's in their guts. I'm not going to eat them all today. I'm going to have a couple of the big ones in a bun for lunch. I'm not going to cook all of these. I'm only going to cook a couple of the big ones because I'm only having this for lunch. My wife's cooking a nice big roast for us and I don't want to be full up for that. I'm going to let that boil. I'm going to put a couple of these big ones into already boiling water, and I'm going to let them pop open, and then I'm going to take them out, and then I'm going to fry them in panko breadcrumbs. Right, the water's boiling. Let's put that giant clam in there. And these other ones. I don't know whether you heard that, but when I put it in there, I heard a crack. The big quahog that I put in there has cracked right along the back. We'll see what happens. That is ridiculous. Look at the size of the chunk of meat that has come out of that. Wow, that is unbelievable. That is such a big chunk of meat. That is going in the seasoned flour, then in the egg wash, then in the panko. So aside from the great big one, we've got these. You can see the difference in meat that you get in a shell that size and one that size. I discarded one because I didn't like the look of it, but these ones look okay. So it's going to be the same process in the flour, in the egg wash, and then in the panko. Let's cook this big boy first. So excuse the shirt, bit of a job interview earlier, but this is what we've got. That's a brioche bun with a load of hard shell clams in there. Bit of sweet chilli sauce. That's very, very tasty. This is a great big one, but I'll cut it in half and I've already had a bite out of it. So that's what we got. That is my very late lunch. At least it ain't all getting stuck in my beard. The clams are just a vehicle for the flavours that you put on them. Like the salt and chilli pepper seasoning that I put on there. And the sweet chilli sauce. Oh, big bits just fell out. There's too much in there. Oh man. Wow. I've said this before in other videos, but the waters where I get these from are Class C, which means there's a certain amount of E. coli in 100 grams of meat, of the shellfish, and if it gets above a certain level, then that's how they grade it, A, B and C. These are grade B waters, and these shellfish, they have to be cooked. I'm going to have to make a separate video on this grading system. Only another month and I'll get me barnet cut. My wife says this hair makes me look so old. I make her right as well. Some water boiling now, and I'm going to put these small hard shell clams and cockles in the boiling water with a squeeze of lemon. Oh, that went anywhere but the pan. So these are the cockles and one little hard shell clam in there. One of the hard shell clams didn't want to open, so I discarded it, as is meant to be. So yeah, I'm going to eat these traditionally with a little bit of pepper and a little dab of vinegar. So these have had a right good soaking in malt vinegar. The black bits you can see, that's not grit, that's black pepper that I put in there, because that's how you're traditionally meant to eat them. So yeah, I reckon they're ready to go. Very nice. This is a small hard shell clam, done the same way as the cockles. Pretty much the same really. Enjoying these. They're gone. Right, so these are the clams that I've got left. One of my friends asked me if they was any good for bait, and I'm going to try these ones for bait. I'm not taking them out of the environment unnecessarily, because these are invasive anyway. They're not meant to even be in our estuaries. So I'm not taking a native shellfish and just using it for bait willy-nilly.
Look at the meat in that, Jesus.
Wow, look at
the meat in there.
Look at that.
Not for long. Another.
Not so big, that one, but big enough.
Still a nice bit of meat in.
Wow.
Ibuprofen.
These things, look at the meat in that.
That is so much meat in that one, jeez.
That is unbelievable.
Look at that.
Look at the meat in there. I wish I'd have ate that one there.
That's a lot of stuff in there.
I've mashed it to pieces. That's unbelievable.
Look at that. There's a bit of shell in it.
That's right. It's going to be for
fish. I suppose
it's going to be bait for fish. Yeah, they don't care, do they? Look at all that meat there. Look. So there's quite a bit of bait in there for the next time I go fishing.